The next topic to be discussed is portfolio evaluation. In this class, we'll be discussing about portfolio performance evaluation, the need for portfolio evaluation, what are benchmarks, and also we'll learn to calculate Sharpe reward to variability ratio and trainer reward to volatility ratio. So let's start with what is portfolio evaluation. It simply refers to the evaluation of performance of the portfolio. See, as part of portfolio management, there were various stages, right? There was portfolio analysis, there was portfolio selection, there was portfolio revision. And in all these stages, we had a single goal. And that goal was to maximize the return and minimize the risk. Now, in this stage, which is portfolio evaluation, our aim is to find out whether we have achieved that goal of maximizing return and minimizing risk. So it refers to the evaluation of the performance of the portfolio. So what we'll do as part of portfolio evaluation is that we will compare the return earned on a portfolio with the return earned on one or more other portfolio. And the portfolio that we use to compare with our portfolio is known as the benchmark portfolio. So we'll calculate the return of our own portfolio and we'll compare it with the return of another portfolio, which is known as the benchmark portfolio. So performance evaluation or portfolio evaluation essentially comprises of two functions: performance measurement and performance evaluation. These are the two functions which are included under portfolio evaluation. What is performance measurement? See, it is an accounting function which measures the return earned on a portfolio during the holding period or the investment period. How much return have you earned? This is calculated by using accounting techniques. And this is known as performance measurement. Second one is performance evaluation. Now we'll evaluate whether the performance of the portfolio is a superior one or an inferior one. Whether this performance was achieved due to the skill of the investor or purely because of luck. So we are going to take all these factors into consideration, and that is known as performance evaluation. So performance measurement and performance evaluation together sums up portfolio evaluation. What is the need for evaluation? See, there are individual investors in the stock market. People who will directly choose the securities which they are interested in investing in, and they will carry out the trading. Now, they are interested in knowing whether the portfolio that they have created by themselves is an efficient one and whether it is earning the returns that is expected from it at the expected level of risk. Second need is for the evaluation of portfolio managers. See, sometimes because we are not that experienced in the field of stock market, we will approach mutual funds, right? And we'll ask the mutual funds to decide our portfolio. So mutual funds will be developing a lot of portfolios according to the investor's specific needs and requirements. So each portfolio will be entrusted to a portfolio manager. And what these mutual funds will do is that they will evaluate the performance of portfolios created by different portfolio managers in order to find out which portfolio manager is developing the most efficient portfolio. So for the evaluation of portfolio managers, portfolio evaluation is necessary. The third one is evaluation of mutual funds. There are a lot of mutual funds out there, and each of them are competing against each other. So before we make a choice, before we decide which mutual fund to approach, we are going to study the performance of each mutual fund. We are going to compare the performance of different mutual funds and choose the one which is performing efficiently. So for the evaluation of mutual funds as a whole, portfolio evaluation is necessary. Now the evaluation perspective. Evaluation can be carried out in three perspectives. The first one is transaction view, whereby the investor will study the profit that he earned from each transaction or the loss that he incurred from each transaction. So every transaction that he enters into will be evaluated. Second one is security view, whereby you will study the performance of the security which you have included in your portfolio. What was the actual returns that you earned in the holding period in the form of dividends or interest and as capital appreciation? What was the return that you got from that security? Should that security be removed from your portfolio? Should more units of that particular security be included in your portfolio? That is the security evaluation. Third one is portfolio view, whereby you will study the performance of the portfolio as a whole. You're not going to study the performance of individual securities in your portfolio. You're going to study the returns and risk components of your portfolio as a whole and determine whether it is up to the mark. So these are three perspectives of carrying out portfolio evaluation. Now we need to measure the returns from a portfolio, right? So it's always best to take risk into consideration and then calculate risk adjusted returns. For a certain level of risk, what is the returns? That is what we are going to learn under the measurement of portfolio returns. And we need to be familiar with some terms. The first one is risk-free return, usually denoted as RF. What is risk-free return? This risk-free rate of interest is the return that an investor can earn on a riskless security. That is, the return that you get without bearing any sort of a risk is known as risk-free return. Suppose you are investing in some government security. Then the return is assured. You are bearing 0% risk for investing in that particular security. So that is an example of a risk-free return. The second term that we need to be familiar with is risk premium. The return earned over and above the risk-free rate is the risk premium. The risk premium means it is a reward for bearing risk. Suppose the total return that you got is 10. And a government security, you could have invested in a government security for rupees 6. The return, if you had invested in a government security, then the return that you would have got from it is rupees 6. So 10 is your total return. 6 is the risk-free return. So 10 minus 6, 4 rupees is your risk premium. Because that is the return you got for bearing risk. You could have simply chosen to go and buy a government security and you would have got a return of 6 rupees. But you chose to bear the risk and therefore you earned an extra 4 rupees over and above the risk-free return. That extra 4 that you got because you are willing to bear risk is known as the risk premium. Now, how will we calculate the risk premium per unit? If we divide the risk premium by a measure of risk, we will get the risk premium per unit of risk. So risk premium is nothing but the total return from the portfolio minus the risk-free rate. That will give you the risk premium. That divided by a measure of risk. We know measures of risk are standard deviation or beta. So if we are going to divide it with standard deviation or beta, then we'll be able to calculate the risk premium per unit. There are two methods of measuring the reward per unit of risk, and it has been proposed by William Sharpe and Jack Trainer. So let's learn what is Sharpe ratio and Trainer's ratio. Sharpe ratio. See, the performance measure which was developed by William Sharpe is referred to as Sharpe ratio. It is also known as reward to variability ratio. It is the ratio of the reward or risk premium to the variability of return, or risk as measured by standard deviation of return. It's nothing but you will calculate the risk premium and then you will divide it with standard deviation and then you will get Sharpe ratio. So the formula is RP, where RP is the realized return on the portfolio, that is the total return from your portfolio, minus RF, that is the risk-free rate of return. Whatever is the rate of return for a government security, that is your RF, divided by standard deviation of the portfolio. That will give you Sharpe's ratio. The next one is Trainer's ratio. Trainer's ratio was developed by Jack Trainer and it is also known as reward to volatility ratio. It is the ratio of the reward or risk premium to the volatility of return as measured by portfolio beta. The only difference here is that the risk premium is divided by the beta value instead of standard deviation as taken in Sharpe's ratio. So the formula is RP, that is the realized return on the portfolio minus risk-free rate of return divided by portfolio beta. See, we know there are two types of risks, right? That is systematic risk and unsystematic risk. When we have a diversified portfolio, if you're having a good diversified portfolio, we can eliminate the unsystematic risk. The standard deviation is the measure to calculate the total risk, and beta is the measure to calculate the systematic risk. Now, if your portfolio is a well-diversified one, then we can say that we have brought down the unsystematic risk to a 0 level. So the only risk that remains in your portfolio is the systematic risk. And therefore, you will use beta value to measure that risk. So if it is a well-diversified portfolio, then Trainer's ratio is the best one for that. Whereas, if your portfolio is not so well-diversified, that means there is an element of systematic risk and unsystematic risk in that portfolio. In that case, Sharpe's ratio will be the most appropriate because we are using standard deviation which measures the total risk. I hope that much is clear. Now we'll move on to work out a problem with regard to Sharpe ratio and Trainer's ratio. So the question, the return and risk figures of two mutual funds and the stock market index are given in the table. The risk-free rate of return is 7%. Okay. So RF, whether it be Trainer's ratio or Sharpe's ratio, is going to be 7. We got the RF value, the risk-free rate of return is 7. Now we need the RP value, right? In the numerator, it is RP minus RF for both Sharpe's ratio and the Trainer's ratio. So RP is given as return percent. 12, 19 is the RP that is given, and 15. Now if it's Sharpe ratio, we are going to divide it with the standard deviation value that is given in the third column. And if it's Trainer's ratio, we're going to divide it with the beta value which is given in the fourth column. Now what is this market index? See, this is the benchmark index. The benchmark index means we are going to compare the performance of our portfolio with the performance of the benchmark, that is the market index performance, and see whether our portfolio is performing better than the market index or worse than the market index, or is it performing in the same level as the market index. So our benchmark is the market index. A and Z are the portfolios that we have created. RP is the values given in the second column. RF is 7. Standard deviation for calculating Sharpe's ratio, which will be shown in the denominator, is given in the third column. And the beta value, which will be shown as denominator in Trainer's ratio, is given in the fourth column. So let's work out. The Sharpe ratio for the first three funds are, in case of A, B, C, sorry, I've taken the variables as a bit different. The fund is given as A, Z, and M. So let's just assume it's A, Z, and M here, okay? In the place of B, I mean Z, and in place of C, it means the market index, which is M. So in case of fund A, the RP is 12 minus RF, which is 7. 12 minus 7 divided by standard deviation for the A fund, which is 18, will give you the answer 0.277. Now the Z, if the fund is Z, then return is 19 minus RF 7. 19 minus 7 divided by the standard deviation, which is 25, which will give you 0.48. Now in the case of market index M, see in place of C, please consider it as M. M is equal to 15 minus 7 divided by standard deviation, which is 20. So you will get 0.40. Out of these three funds, it is quite clear which fund is earning more. So the market index is 0.40. The second one, which is Z, the fund Z is performing better than the market index of 0.40. And fund A is performing worse than the market index, which is market index is 0.40 and fund A is 0.277. So we now got the answer. Now let's move on to trainers ratio. In trainers ratio, the numerators are all going to be the same. Only the denominator will change. Instead of the standard deviation values, we are going to use the beta values. So 12 minus 7, 19 minus 7, 15 minus 7 will be the same as in the previous problem. The denominators will use the beta values 0.7, 1.3 and 1. 0.7, 1.3 and 1. We got the answers 7.14, 9.23 and 8. So calculate the B as Z and C as M, market index. So in this trainer's performance also, we can see that the second fund, the Z fund, is performing better than the market index of 8. And fund A is performing worse than the market index of 8. Moving on to the next question. Here in this question, you're given the following historical performance information on the capital market and mutual fund. See, in the first column, they have given the number of years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 10 years. Then the mutual funds beta values have been given. Then the mutual funds return has been given. The return on a market index, the benchmark against which we are going to measure the performance of a mutual fund. That benchmark's returns have also been given. And the return on government securities has been given in the question. The return on government securities is your risk-free rate of return. Calculate reward to variability ratio and reward to volatility ratio, which means Sharpe's ratio and Trainer's ratio. And we need to comment on the mutual fund's performance. So let's begin by calculating the average of all these columns. How do we calculate the average? See, the mutual fund's beta value can be averaged by adding up all the values and dividing it by 10. In the same way, the mutual fund returns will all be added together and divided by 10. The return of the market index, all these 10 figures will be added together and divided by 10. And the return on government securities will also be added up, summed up, and then divided by 10 to get the averages. So this is the averages that we got by doing that. So the mutual fund's beta is 0.87. The mutual fund's return is 11.05. The return on market index is 8.69% and return on government securities is 5.95. Let's begin by calculating Sharpe's ratio. To calculate Sharpe's ratio, we need the return of the portfolio or the mutual fund. We need the risk-free return. The return of the mutual fund is given. See, we have calculated it as 11.05 minus risk-free return, which is a return on government securities. That is also available, which is 5.95. Now, the denominator is not available. We need to divide it with the standard deviation of the portfolio. So, let's calculate the standard deviation of the portfolio. So, the formula is root of n sigma x square minus sigma x the whole square divided by n square. We'll take into consideration the returns of the mutual fund. We are going to square it and show it in the third column. Then we'll calculate the totals of the second column and the third column. Now we'll apply it into the formula. N here means the number of years, that is 10, into sigma x square, that is the total 2097.25, minus sigma x the whole square. The total of sigma, the x is 110.5, the whole raised 2. Divided by n square, which is 10 into 10. Now by solving this equation, we'll get the standard deviation value as 9.36. So Sharpe's ratio is 11.05, which is a mutual fund return, minus the return on government securities or risk-free return, which is 5.95, divided by the standard deviation which we calculated, which is 9.36. And we'll get the Sharpe's ratio as 0.545. That is the return for the mutual fund according to Sharpe's ratio. Now we need to calculate Trainer's ratio. The numerator will be the same, right? 11.05 minus 5.95. Now we need to be divided with the beta value. The beta value is also available here. We added up all the beta values and divided by 10 and we got the average as 0.87. So we're going to divide it with 0.87 and we'll get 5.86 as trainer's value of return from the mutual fund. Now, we need a benchmark, right? We need to calculate the market index Sharpe ratio and trainer ratio and then compare it with the mutual funds ratios in order to find out whether our mutual fund is performing better than the market index or not. So that is the next one. So in order to calculate the market index also, we need the standard deviation of the market index. So we'll note down the return on the of all the market index and we'll square it all. Then we'll find the totals. Then we'll apply it in the formula. N is 10, sigma x square is 1404.43 and sigma x whole square is 86.90. By substituting the values in the equation, we'll get the standard deviation of the market index as 8.06. So the market index return minus risk-free rate of return. The market index return is 8.69 minus the return on government securities, which is 5.95. Divided by the standard deviation that we calculated now, which is 8.06. We'll get the answer as 0.34. Now, trainer's ratio, the numerator will be the same. We're going to divide it with the beta of the market. So the beta value of the market is not given anywhere in the question. In that case, we'll assume that the beta value is 1. So the answer that we got is 2.74. Now we're going to write down everything we got in the table so it will be easy to compare. Sharpe's ratio for the mutual fund, the return was the ratio was 0.545. Market index is 0.34. Trainer's ratio for the mutual fund is 5.86 and for the market index is 2.74. So from this, we can clearly understand that the mutual fund, which we have created, A and Z, is performing much better than the market index. So the portfolio is an efficient, or the mutual fund portfolio is an efficient one. That is what we can regard from this calculations. So with that, we come to an end of the portfolio evaluation. Now, there are other methods also like Jensen's method, Farmer decomposition of total returns, etc. But that is not mentioned in the syllabus, so I'm not explaining it. If you want, you can go through it. I hope this much is clear. Thank you.